Now, earlier this week, Robert Kennedy Jr., the son of assassinated Senator Bobby Kennedy, announced he will run for president, but as an independent candidate.
Yes, he's actually an anti-vaccination activist and he's an environmental lawyer. His chances of winning the election next year are pretty slim. He could, though, impact a close race between others.
Yeah, not everyone's happy, though, not least his four siblings who've released a statement saying the decision of our brother to run as a third-party candidate against Joe Biden is dangerous to our country. Bobby might share the same name as our father, but he does not share the same values, vision or judgment.
That's quite stern, isn't it? Let's see what Steve Gill, the former advisor to the Clinton and Bush administrations, makes of this. A very good morning. Lovely to see you again. Did this come out of the blue, or do you think he was always going to do something like this?
I think that's been the plan for a while, because the Democratic Party has really been shuttering him to the sideline, not really giving him access to actually politically get involved in the way he would like. But man, wouldn't it be nice to pull up a chair at the Kennedy Thanksgiving luncheon in about a month or so? That's going to be a fun table to sit at.
Yeah, couldn't it just? I mean, talk us through exactly who he is, because he has proved to be, hasn't he, a bit of a controversial character, as, well, the Kennedys often are.
Well, and it's interesting because a lot of people in the United States are trying to figure out, as an independent, will he pull more from Joe Biden if he's the Democrat nominee, or will he pull more from Trump if he's the Republican nominee? And I think right now people don't really know that much about him. They know his name. They know some of the kind of top line issues that he's talked about. But I think a lot of people are putting on him their own impressions of what they think he's for, that they think he agrees with them. And I think as he gets more specific on issues, he's going to lose some support, actually on both sides of the aisle. And it will be difficult for him, in the way our process works, to win electoral votes, to actually win the votes in states that are the key to get the electoral votes to get elected. So I see him as more of a spoiler, and I think his spoiler status will go down as people find out more about where he actually stands on the issues.
Well, what sort of a character is he then?
Well, he has a lot of the charisma that the Kennedy family is known for, and he is certainly a guy that has an image of speaking bluntly and directly, again, whether it's on the vaccine issues, whether it's on questioning the U.S. involvement in the Ukraine-Russia conflict and the amount of money that's being spent without a lot of accountability. So on those sorts of issues, he has some appeal to sort of that independent-minded, common-sense voter in the U.S. But at the same time, he has expressed a lot of opinions that are sometimes seen as anti-Semitic. And right now in the world, this is not a time to be seen that way in U.S. politics. Also not a strong proponent of gun rights. And I think there are a lot of other issues, including abortion in the United States, where he's trying to sort of have it both ways. On one hand, appealing to the pro-abortionists in the U.S., and at the same time, he took a posture just a few months ago where he was willing to draw the line on abortion at a 3-month level and then backtracked on that. So again, I think as he gets into the arena and gets better defined on the issues, he's going to lose support rather than gain it.
Yeah, but as you say, as a spoiler then, and it is difficult to judge his position, but if he is a sort of spoiler candidate, who do you think, Steve, will suffer more if he gains, you know, is he going to potentially sort of hive off Democrat votes or Republican votes?
First of all, again, because of our electoral process, you have to win state by state with sort of this patchwork built across the United States. So he may do very well in New York. He may very well do good in California, but he's not likely to tip the balance in either of those states against the Democrat candidates. And I don't think he'll have a lot of sway in a lot of the dark red states, Republican states, either. So I think at the end of the day, he probably hurts Democrats like Joe Biden worse than he hurts Donald Trump. The other question is, how does he play down the line? What voters does he turn out that may cost Democrats or Republicans U.S. House seats or U.S. Senate seats? And right now, the map in the United States is poised very strong for the Republicans to gain seats in the U.S. Senate. My view would be, how does he affect those races down ballot? Do people stay home? Do they support him? And then who do they vote for, depending on who he votes for, they vote for at the top of the ticket? What happens when they go further down the ticket and start voting for local races, House races, and U.S. Senate races?
And historically, I mean, in any other time, if you were talking about the possibility of another Kennedy candidate, you would expect him to have enormous support, particularly from his political side, but also from his family, and enormous sums of money, which we all know is needed to fight that sort of campaign. And yet he doesn't seem to be very popular with his own immediate family, does he?
Yeah, I think, as you pointed out at the outset, the scathing response by his family is something that I certainly didn't expect. I expected they would at least be kind to their family member. And when we have the way U.S. politics works these days, you have campaign finance limits that are so-called hard money that you have to use to run your actual campaign. And then you have the soft money where unlimited donations can go into these super PACs to fund the TV commercials and everything else. I don't know that he has the big donors, the billionaires that can be putting tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into super PACs that are really essential in the American political scene now. When you're limited to how much an individual can give, you can only raise so much money, and that's what pays for your travel. That's what pays for the actual campaign apparatus, and he may have a hard time on both fronts.
OK. Well, interesting times ahead. Interesting to have a third-party candidate. Anyway, Steve, as always, it's good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Right.
I mean, you think the name would...
Yeah.
I wonder if those people who are out saying now, oh, we're going to support him, are just doing it for the name.
Well, the name is magic, isn't it? There's no doubt there. But when you get a sort of scathing reference like that from your own family, that doesn't look too good. And you need, as he said there, you need tons of money to fight an election like this.
It seems odd in
and he's
itself,
a very,
doesn't
what
it?
you might call a colourful character.